What's up, you AI nerds? Fast Hours Podcast, episode 72. Rory, Flynn, Drew Brucker. Let's go, baby. Let's 72. Go. New week. Let's jump this thing off. Rory,
new
talk
intro
to me,
there.
Baby.
New intro
you know,
for the AI
just
nerds.
winging it. Just winging it a little bit.
I like it. I like it. It's back to normal, back to chaos, back to new things every day, new updates, new whatever. But just got back from doing my stint in San Francisco for Figma Config, which was awesome. Like, just awesome time. Good seeing some familiar faces. We had a couple friends of the show there and a couple friends from X there. Was hanging out with Phil Maggs, Mindo. Saw Linus from X, Linus Eck and STEM, if anyone's familiar with him from X. So a lot of good people, and just like such a sick event. They put a lot of effort into it. And the thing's huge, man. Like, it's so big. The main stage is like a stadium. Like, it was like, am I at like a tech conference or like a Taylor Swift concert here? This thing is massive, but super cool. Had a lot of fun. Had a lot of nerves. Was hoping to not get blasted by people after the fact. The design audience is a little bit different.
You have that. Maybe I saw this somewhere. Maybe you posted it on a story or something. But you had a link to the full talk.
Yes.
And I checked it out. Yeah, it was really good stuff.
Thanks,
would highly
dude.
recommend it. Yeah, I think you crushed it, man. That's awesome to see that you got a chance to do that. It's a big show, and not surprised that you crushed it either. I mean, you've been doing these talks, so not a surprise at all.
They gave me a tough
Luna
direction.
might be a little disappointed, but
she's hot. It's hot today.
A tough critic.
Yeah. They gave me a tough assignment. Was basically deep dive into Weavy, but also show like high level practical application. And they're like, you have 20 minutes.
Yeah. You covered a lot. You covered a lot in the 20 minutes.
You'll appreciate this one. We were I knew you get the timer in front of you when you're up there, so like I could see my slides and I could see the timer. So I'm like constantly looking at the timer because I know I gotta move. And then I had about probably 10 slides left, and I saw I had maybe 2.5 minutes. I'm like, oh, I gotta go. And I started just like ripping. Right
awesome.
Now, what they do at Figma, which I haven't had before, was there was a sign language translator next to me, doing
snap.
it. So out of the corner of my eye, I see this guy's in like a flow, and then like when I start picking up, he starts like moving. Like
you probably never experienced that before. That could be like a distraction. I mean,
it's like he's doing like interpretive dance over there because I'm moving so fast. He's trying to keep up, and I'm just like, sorry, dude. Like we got to get through this in the next 2 minutes.
Oh my god.
I don't know what was funnier, that or my first ride in a Waymo, which I gotta say changed my opinion on the whole thing. Have you ever been in one?
I haven't, but now I've got the FSD. So
it's crazy. Like, I thought there was first off, you see Waymo stuff. I'm like, okay, there's probably
it's different. It's different in the sense that I guess like you're in the back seat. I mean, and you don't. It's not like you could just take over the wheel, can you? Like if an emergency happens,
No, but I went into it. I don't know. I know that Waymo's around. I don't know how around it is. Like, I'm thinking I see a couple like every day. It's like all over the place. It's like every other.
I think
car
San Francisco is like the hub of Waymo's.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So that's probably why. But so you're saying you see them in New York quite a bit too, though, right?
No. In San Francisco, I don't think they're allowed in New York because it's too crazy.
Okay.
But
yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember seeing them in New York, but
no.
As far as like California, like San Francisco, that's like I think where they're the most densely populated.
So it took me
surreal experience.
It took me definitely a couple days to warm up to the idea, and then one night when I had a couple beverages, and I was like, all right, I'm doing this because like if there's any time I'm gonna be comfortable with doing it, it's now. Thing pulls up, I get in, and it just starts going, and I'm like,
how does it know it's you? Like based on Bluetooth connection,
I don't know,
precise location, and then what do you like? Anybody can open the door?
On the app specifically, it says unlock door, so you click that and it unlocks the door. So
yeah,
you can just,
I was gonna say there has to be something.
Yeah. And then, you know, we took it, or I took it, and I was like screaming the whole way back. I was like, oh, every time it was like doing something, I didn't trust it at all. Then the next day, I was like, screw it, we're taking this. I took Phil with me, and you know, we went to go get tacos somewhere. But it was like it was like his first time, so he was doing the same thing, like white knuckling the whole way. But the second time, the novelty's already gone. Like now it's like, all right, now this is just cool, dude.
Been here, done this. Yeah.
It comes. You can play your music in it. You can sit in the back seat. You can basically just like kind of do whatever you want and just like hang out in there and just it's quick, it's fast, it doesn't talk to you, and it's clean. And it's like this is
no one wants to talk.
Not bad.
No one wants to talk. I mean, I used to kind of I was sort of like that walking stereotype where you'd be like, "Hey man, how's it going? How long you been driving an Uber?" You know?
And try to boost
a couple years ago, it's like, nah, man, I don't even talk. Hi, how's it going? All right, bye. You know,
I had a bad ride with one of my friends one time, and it wasn't me, it was them, and I got like a 1-star rating, and it ruined my Uber rating for a little bit. So then I was like actively trying to get it back. You know, in New York, that's gold.
So you're putting in the work.
Oh, dude, full sales mode back. You know, I'd get in there and start, you know, asking them questions that I knew they were gonna like just want to vent about, and then like that boosted my rating right back up. And I did it in San Francisco. I was like, one guy was asking me something. I'm like, I gotta ask you something. How much do you hate these Waymos? And it was like 20-minute offloading.
Oh yeah,
how much he hates.
You just unpacked the whole bag of luggage with that shit.
5-star rating.
That's great.
Yeah,
it's like this guy gets it. 5 stars.
You got it. Yeah. Because there is funny situations, right? Like I was at a restaurant, and it was you know, I was walking home, but I walked outside, and you know, 2-lane street, cars parked on both sides. So like the Waymos pull up from both sides, and they stop, and then they're letting people out at the restaurant. And then the cars behind them, you know, they're like trying to turn and like kind of judge what the Waymo's going to do because they don't know. And then like after the Waymo dropped people off, it sat there for like 10 seconds. So then both cars like tried to like go around it into like the other lanes, and then like as soon as they were in the other lanes, both Waymos took off. So just like,
bro, that's hilarious.
You can just tell everyone, it's just like, screw these things, man.
Oh my god,
I don't want to drive with this. But,
yeah.
By the way, if we've been going on about Waymo and you guys aren't familiar with Waymo, self-driving car in San Francisco, and it's just like there's no, like, you can't take over it. They can't remotely pilot it if it starts doing something. So you're kind of in for
a ride,
joyride,
literally,
one way or the other. But it was you know, it's like everyone who's from out of town taking it for the first time. It's like all anyone could talk about is the Waymo, because it's just so ridiculous. You know, it just doesn't make sense. It's like this is where we are now. So, you know, config, awesome, spoke, was cool. Was on a little stage, you know, walked out, turned the corner, saw like 20 people deep in the back, like flowing out the stage. I was like, oh, this is gonna be different than I thought. I was expecting like really like intimate, like I can sort of interact. That, then Waymo, then all the other stuff. Summarizing it, good time. That's all I got to say about that. But
nice, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So we're back though. We're back. I think did we miss last week or did we record? No, we missed last week. But we released last week, but we didn't record last week.
I think that's right. Man, my week's off too. Yeah, it's crazy.
If anyone's wondering where we were last week and you didn't see the episode, it's because we got dinged a little bit by the the algorithm for our thumbnail. So you missed episode 71.
Well, I don't think it was for our thumbnail.
Oh, it wasn't
because I thought it was for our thumbnail.
Oh,
because we had, you know, the White House and American flag. You know, it's like, seriously. So then, you know, I just changed the thumbnail a couple times. Like, okay, let's remove the flag. Let's remove the White House. Let's remove the red, white, and blue from the streaks coming from the jets. And each time is like, nope. So something in our episode, we are, you know, actively politicking in some direction. So just you know, just so you know, and you know, they'll probably hear this transcript and think that we better be careful. So anyway,
sorry,
I'm gonna move on from that and apologize for any lisps that take place today. I just got Invisalign. Today is day 1, And
those
I'm just
curly-
YOLOing. I am raw dogging it straight from Invisalign appointment into the episode. Here we are. So ride along
They
with
look
me.
good.
We're
They look
gonna
good.
we're gonna take care of it. And Rory, maybe this is a really good time. Tell your dental hygienist.
Dental
Tell your
hygienist,
dentist.
that's a new one.
Tell
Haven't
the
had that one yet.
receptionist at the dentist office. Get those guys in to subscribe to this
need
podcast.
this.
We need them. We need them.
Need this, and we need them. So if you haven't, tell one of them.
Tell them. Tell them. Yep.
We got a ton of stuff happening here.
Yeah, let's get
I
into
feel
it.
like-
Where do you want to start with?
I feel like we've become like AI Sports Center. So much stuff happens at this
Dude,
point.
right?
It's like
That's right.
it's for anyone. I think we should just cover this quickly because I'm sure a lot of people have been waiting on it. Last week we discussed ad nauseum the Fable situation with the U.S. government and being stripped from everyone's usage and how that's potentially not cool. And we didn't want it to set a precedent moving forward, but it looks like it's setting a precedent moving forward. And for anyone who just got Fable access back yesterday or today, depending on where you are, it's nerfed, and it's nerfed pretty bad. Like it's not easily not the same model, but we saw that the U.S. government can come in and just say like, okay, we don't want you. We want to use this model our way, but you as the consumer can't use it because it's dangerous. Which there's merit to that, but also I think now that they can do that with this model, you saw it like OpenAI has to do it like a
now
very
the precedent
specific way.
the precedence has been laid down now. Yep.
And now it's the only people that don't feast off this is us, like the people that are using it. So we're the ones that are going to be caught holding the bag, paying $200 a month, getting nerfed models, right? So
Yep.
regardless, I think it's just good to mention that if you want a longer diatribe on it. We talked about it a lot last week, but I was disappointed. I don't know if you got to use it yet.
Since it's been back, just a little bit this morning. It's been a crazy week. I'm just playing catch up. I was out last week too. Just getting this car. There's an Invisalign. I'm like changing my whole life right now this week.
Midlife crisis. Nice.
But I'm taking my girls to their first baseball game tonight. Cardinals are in town playing the Braves.
It's gonna be a hot.
Series cap. Yeah, it is gonna be hot. It's like 97 here today.
Yeah.
With humidity, so it's brutal. But I'm excited for that. I wanted to take them last year, and I sort of regretted not taking them. I was really thinking about it, but I am glad that I waited. I think they're going to appreciate it much more now. They love watching sports, man. They watched part of the World Cup games with me. They were watching the Rams last year. We watched some Cardinals this week because it was just on regular channels because they're local. It's like, all right, this will be fun.
Great.
This will be fun. But
Baseball games
man,
are fun for everyone.
It's been it's just interesting. I don't know what else to say about this other than the fact that now that it's happened once, what is the process going to be moving forward for new models? Do all new models need to be approved by the government now? And is there a conflict of interest in the sense that you've got this deal now with OpenAI and the government? Anyway, we better watch what we say about getting too far into the PLL. But I'm just thinking that that's a weird thing to throw in the mix as well. It's just going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. Does that slow the velocity? Do they really start to create this delta, which probably already exists, right? We just don't know it. But does the delta become wider between people that are higher up in certain positions, working for certain people, certain brands and companies, organizations, entities, versus the everyday person like us? What is that delta like in terms of the capabilities that these models have? And I just feel like, is that going to grow as well? The difference between the power that's involved on one side of that model versus the other side of that user model. And it's just interesting, man. I don't like it, but also there's a big thing going on here in general, which is very concerning, right? Which is the whole this tech specifically has been moving so much faster than regulations since day zero. And now we're at a point several years in where it seems like that's going to start to tighten up a little bit, but it's a real interesting situation that you've got this arms race happening with AI between people like China and the USA, right? And you're trying to balance speed and win this race with safety. And those things don't typically, mix very well in a competitive environment. So there's a big thing there, man. And I don't know exactly what my specific concern is at this time, but there are several that are just kind of lurking in the back of my brain where I'm just like, yeah, this feels weird. I don't like this, but
definitely doesn't feel great. But this is like, I always like to pull this up just to make sure that we're still operating on a lesser model, which is, if you can tell, Claude government seems to never be out, always working at full capacity.
You showed me this. It's hilarious. Yeah, good observation.
I mean, it's if you look at it from all the way back to May, I think when there was probably I forget when the first sort of like collaboration news was, and then it's like ever since then, always operational. But it kind of it feels like we were sort of like raising livestock for slaughter. It was like, oh, let's just let the consumers pay for all of it, and then when it's good enough, we'll just take it. That's kind of how it feels. And I was worried about this, and I was worried about how bad it would be when we got it back. It looks like it's delegating a lot of tasks to Opus 4.8, which yesterday I wanted to almost just quit Claude. It just couldn't get something so simple, and I had to go back to 4.6 to get something to work, and then Figma came out and did it in 5 seconds, which it wasn't hard to begin with, but it was it feels weird. It feels like that's the new part. Like, again, it's like, oh, we're gonna have like all this stuff for like the top 100 trusted partners. They're gonna get the good stuff, and then we're gonna have to make sort of
it's just dude. I mean, there's
lower models.
There's so many things at play here. I mean, you think of too, who's leading these organizations: OpenAI, Anthropic. Things that they have set up in terms of. I don't know if morality is the right word, although it could be applied here. But, it's just, this has the looks of something that is going to eat lunches of other brands, just like Amazon did, right? Where it kind of finagled its way in the back door of all these places and got enough data and information and blah, 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 blah to just eat lunches and take over. Right? It's a helpful tool for a brand and a company or an entity until it knows exactly everything that it does, and now it can do it.
Did you see that the crash out?
That's
the Palantir guy. Did you see that interview?
No, I did. I, of course, that's like one of the things I bookmarked but haven't listened to. But I think it was along those same lines. Yeah.
Okay. That was it. It was just basically like they're taking all the IP. Like that's what they're just data.
It's just that's a dangerous game. Because it's almost you have to use these tools now. I mean, and so you've got the stickiness there, the inevitability there. I don't know. There's going to be some things we even talked about today that it's like, oh, that affects how I'm gonna productize or package services for my clients. Like there are things that are competing against you and me even, right? So
all the time.
It's something that we all need to be aware of, and I think this is a really good point to start being proactive about the way that we're thinking about those things and how it applies to us, because that's what we talked about this several times on the podcast. It's like every couple months there's something that changes the way that we might package that offering or deliver that output or, chain tools together or capabilities, right? Where it's like we have to be kind of continuously playing and being curious and experimenting, because something could come along and it's like, oh, well, okay. Like my livelihood, maybe I was able to charge this much for this kind of service, and now it's commoditized or democratized in a sense where it's like, well, this is going to die soon. So what do I do about it?
Who knows? We'll be on distilled, dumber models for everyone else is.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if that's the approach where they get ahead. So they start getting models, they being the powers that be, start getting access to models 1 or 2 versions ahead of what's currently publicly available. Or they're just entirely different models, period. That's also the other thing. But, because there's got to be some sort of, I guess, regulation now with understanding what the capabilities are and not just taking those things at word from the providers. And I'm sure they're not going to want to do what they just did where it's like they release it and then a week or 2 goes by and then they got to take it off the shelf.
Well, I also just found out that I didn't realize that like Claude Enterprise is basically API pricing per user. So it's not like monthly subscription token allotment. It's like every time you hit it, it's just a flat price every time you hit the button, and that's why some of these companies are spending like $500 million a month in tokens. Which, to me, I had this conversation with Phil. Is that not the easiest enterprise sales job in the world? What do you have to sell? You just get on the phone and say, how many seats do you want? And that's it. The product already sold itself.
Well, it's probably gotten compoundingly easier too, because you no longer have to educate on the value of doing it, or the use cases even. People have inevitably seen those things in larger quantities and different demographics, different verticals now. There's still some antiquated spaces, obviously, but it's kind of like, what we're doing selling our services. At the beginning, we had to educate people on exactly what the hell we're doing, number one, and two, why someone would pay for that. We had to really explain the ROI of those things. But people get that now. We don't have to really sell that. But same thing. For them, that would be money. They would, hey, sales roll. Let's go. Let's jump back in.
Dude, look, the other thing was I did see your post on, I think it was either X or LinkedIn, about the taste is the moat. I thought that was well crafted and something that I had felt internally, like, I don't know, a year ago. Yeah. And I was like, that's why I need to get out of this, right? Like I need to move.
I feel like we were, and I'm not going to say that we invented the stance on this, but I remember being very, very early about us talking taste being a moat. We were talking about that years ago. And now it's a very common thing that people are posting about. I'm just like, that would have been a great post a year ago. People know this shit now. And so the post that I put out on LinkedIn yesterday, I think I put maybe a shorter version out on X, which was just about the idea that you can't keep relying on taste being the moat. It's going to dry up faster than people think. I think taste will inevitably still have a role in the process, but I think a lot of the manual pieces of that can be automated with the right context, right? Mm-hmm. It's just like brand guideline. Like if you give it the things that exactly are the taste that fit you, or it's defined taste, like in photography, for example, there are objective things that make better photos.
Yes. Proper
lighting, proper composite. Like if you're doing something with the rule of thirds, or any of these sort of compositions, that's automatically a better photograph, right? So you could apply objective pieces and codify that for taste, right? Now, I think the other thing one thing I'm gonna post about today is or maybe this isn't today, but I was sort of sourcing through this too. Yesterday, when I did make that post, I was like, what? Taste itself is a large category. Are there subcategories of taste? So I started going down that, like, what are the different kinds of taste? Because I think like
sweet,
right,
right, dad jokes.
But you know what I mean? Like, because it is it's like a very big bucket of things. So I think like, let me see if I can kind of find what I landed on here. Let's see. Yeah. Like, okay. So stylistic taste. Think about things like color grading, colors, composition, texture, lighting, right? Kind of what I was just mentioning. There are certain things there that's not really much of a durability,
Yeah.
for taste. Whereas something like strategic taste or moral taste, strategic being like connecting creative decisions to your audience or business outcomes, or morality maybe is what kind of things deserve attention from your brand. But I think there's like this gap. There's a spectrum there, right? Where those feel like there's a longer durability to the taste. But a couple of these other ones I'll just kind of point out. So stylistic taste, selection taste. So kind of like being able to pick the winners, right? So again, if we're creating, 20 images with the same prompt, how do we pick the one or two images we're ultimately going to select for a campaign or a project? Okay. Then you got something that I was calling sort of like editorial taste, which is like knowing what to include and what not to include, right?
Yes.
The do's, the don'ts, all that. Then I was thinking about, okay, like there's taste in concepts, conceptual taste, right? So you think about finding the right idea, metaphor, tension, the communication, or even the framing of the image, right? Then I think you get to something that's probably a little bit more niche, which would be like cultural taste, right? You've got culture at a wide general level. So thinking about that, like in terms of like countries, but you can also get that down to niches, sub-regions of a country, niches within that based on affinity or hobbies or, whatever those things are. And then I think getting into like the strategic moral taste. I haven't sort of like completely, made that concrete, but I was just trying to like break those things down because taste is a big bucket. And I think if I communicate that taste is drying up largely just as a whole, I'm going to get some pushback on that because taste means different things to different people. And so I was trying to like kind of like extrapolate that out a little bit and kind of see what those subsets are. But I think, taste in general, again, like there are some objective things that can be solved right away. And some of those different tiers of taste are going to be much more durable than others, right? And so we're already seeing that, right? Like
the taste conversation has become like the AI will not take your job conversation.
That, dude, right? Like, so much so. Like that's
like
all
the
I'm
same
seeing.
comment.
Yeah.
It's like people who use AI will take your job. It sounds like you have to have taste. It's like, yeah, guys, like everyone knows that. Like it's like I don't understand like first off, it's so shallow, like you said, to say taste. It's like ambiguous. It's like, it's like,
very ambiguous. Yeah.
There's what does that actually mean? But also like for something to be successful, it could also have good taste. But at the same time, like taste needs other factors to make this whole thing work. Like you have to have timing. You have to have sort of connectivity with your brand or message. It also has to have like, a novelty factor to it. Like I can have the best taste in the world, but if everyone's seen it a million times, they don't care anymore, right? Like it's the same thing. Like
yeah.
Like how like the novelty factor of like the Y2K sort of imagery set, right? That everyone like jumps towards. Like, oh, every brand needs to go back to this Y2K aesthetic, right? Like this sort of low angle, distorted bodies, like, hyper saturation, hyper real, funky positions, crazy hair, crazy colors, right? Like that's cool when you see it for the first month or two. But now if you're doing it, it's like I've seen it 10,000 times. Good taste, wrong time. Right?
Bro,
like,
that is such a good point. That is nice. That is a nice little point. Because trends are faster than ever now. And the capability to act on the trends, the bar is at the floor. So to your point, the Y2K aesthetic, I mean, you could see 10 people do that overnight. So what makes yours different?
That's what I mean.
Like you're gonna need to be thinking about, you're gonna need to be fluid. And I think like now more than ever, it's important to try to set the trend versus jumping into the trend.
Correct.
By the time that you jump in, it's already saturated. I mean, for sure. I mean, this is an old example, but you remember this. Remember the figurines in the package?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. I think I saw that, and then I was in house somewhere at that time, and I created some of those like figures for like our C-suite to post on social, like right away, like within 24 hours of that.
Yeah.
And we got really good engagement on it. Great. But then you started to see that whole tail, right, of everybody doing it, and then it just falling off. You saw people doing it 2 weeks after. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you even posting this anymore? But that's what we're talking about, though. I mean, you gotta. Yeah, I think it's important to be versatile, to be unique, and try to set the trends. I mean, I don't know that that's an actual actionable strategy to try to set the trend, but I think like you need to be thinking different. You need to be maybe even leveraging creativity in a different way, in that sense. I think maybe that's an interesting thing to be thinking about as well. But
I think it's going to be hard for brands moving forward, really hard, because I feel like this is probably more of a expertise question for you, but I feel like to have a strong brand, you're going to have a unique look, and a seemingly unique look is going to become more homogenized, and like everyone can do it, and like you saw everyone get away with it over the last 20 years. Yeah, you like that word? Big one.
I love that word. Yeah, but good one.
It's like how like everything started to look exactly the same, like when it was like, oh, you go on. Why is everything a pastel color with rounded soft edges? Like, why does everything look like that? Like every product was doing that same type of marketing, and like it's not a brand, it was just a trend, but everyone's brand sort of mimicked that at that point. And it's like, okay, this all looks the same. I don't know what the difference is between your lipstick and your lipstick. Like, who cares?
Let's talk about the brand equity damage that can occur as well. I mean. Because I mean, practical example here, just people writing on. I would say LinkedIn is probably the worst with this. I mean, X is pretty bad too. But it's just it's clear and obvious AI writing. Even the comments,
correct?
And you're just like, I did this to a couple people yesterday, commented on my stuff. To me, it's like I can see it so obviously. Yes. I'm just like, but what do you think?
Yeah, well, exactly.
And then I got real answers both times I did that. But I think like. To be fair, though, anybody that's established any sort of following on these social channels, but then is using that in that way, and that could be text. I think it even extends into video scripts. I mean, those are bad too. Yeah. They're guilty of. You can tell when they do it. It's like 3 questions in a row, 3 examples in a row. No, I got all those patterns down. But anyway, but that cheapens. When I see that affects my vision of you or 100%. A brand. And I think the same can be said with the example that you gave with the Y2. Like, if you're not first and you're doing something that people have seen time and time again, I don't think highly of you as a brand. That makes me think of you slightly differently. I don't see people talking about that either. But like, that is a problem. That is a major problem that I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to. You're putting your reputation on one of the hardest things to build, but the easiest to tear down. I mean, so I think that should be giving people pause as well. It definitely deserves a proactive approach to the way that you're thinking about it, whether you're a person or you're a brand.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that should be left in the hands of AI. I think there's a lot of things that probably shouldn't. I don't think brand building necessarily from like an ethos standpoint is well handled. Like that has to come from community and sort of like shared experience of your customers, which is tough, right? Like that's one of the best brands in the world. There's not a million of them, right? There's like 100 like that. We can recognize a lot of them, but they've done a lot of work over a long time to have that view. You don't just get that overnight. But to me, it's just like I'm so tired of some of these comments. It feels like such low hanging fruit again. Like again, it feels exactly like the AI is not going to replace you. Someone who knows AI.
I think that was such a
that's a mode. Good. It's like it's just like. Yeah, like timing also comes into this. Like and again, people also don't know what taste was a lot of times until after the fact. Like how many times? Like I was just showing you this little. I'll pull it up for everyone. I have like this little mood board of like 1980s, car dashboards and stuff.
Now I got to ask: are all these real, or did you?
Maybe I don't know. I pulled them from Pinterest.
Okay, but some of these are sick though. I mean,
right? Like you look at those
that 185
back in the day,
that red 185 one.
Where is it? That one, right? Like how it feels like you're in like Star Wars blasting off, right? Like to me, like these types of graphics, probably people by the time they had seen them in every single car, they're like, "This is awful. Like I don't want this anymore." And now, like I look at this and be like, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen." Right? Like you know what I mean? So it's like timing wise, probably
fashion
some of the stuff could
like
be,
fashion, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of like fashion, maybe in that sense.
Well, fashion always comes back because there's always a previous inspiration. Like I like people that do a lot of like vintage stuff that like take the modern approach to it. They like pull from the history so you feel something. Like I connected to it, but then also like let me see what you do with it because you know there's something to being original, but original is extremely hard. You know, and I'd rather see like a aesthetic that's like I have some sort of connection to, like from whenever, and then like put a modern take on it. And this is my own personal opinion. Versus like here's a new UX UI design trend, liquid glass. Let's have everyone do it. It's like I just learned about it and now I don't like it anymore. You know what I mean? Because it's like I've just seen it too much, and everyone's like, "This is the best thing ever. Let's just do it." You know, so it's an interesting conversation. It could have probably a 6-hour discussion on it because
dude, really good.
I mean, I know we don't do much of this on here, guys, but this one just like I think you start to get to an irk point when it's like every scroll it's the same exact thing, and you're like, all right, is everyone writing with AI and they're just reading all of the posts and then regurgitating the most trending topic? Because that's what it starts to sound like.
I want to know too, like how much of what we're putting in is getting reused into training data sets, because they're like, I'm sure you've definitely experienced this, but it makes you feel in some ways like a visionary, because there are so many things I've talked about that I had never heard about before, never seen discussed, that a couple months go by, other people are saying the same thing. And as much as I'd like to feel and call myself an oracle in that regard, I just feel like some of this information is getting regurgitated in and sort of like pushed around, you know? Like taste is the moat. Taste is the moat specifically, that line.
Yes.
Right, has, you know, so it's just like, I get there's the sort of waterfall effect of people saying and then other people climbing onto it, but this feels like wider than that. And again, I am positive that there are some people on this podcast listening to this, and you have experienced this personally, where you've maybe come to the conclusion on some things, or you've discovered something. It felt like you've discovered something new, or, you know, somewhat original, or perhaps like a just different, complete thought about something that maybe even is contrarian, and then you just all of a sudden start seeing it pop up.
Yours is the first one in a long time where I clicked on it, because I click on most of them just to see if anyone has like a unique take, and it's the same take every time. I'm like, why does your regurgitated take that's been said 10,000 times like make any sense? Because you had a fresh perspective on it, which is nice. Right?
I went complete contrarian against what we've been talking about. Like me and you were the biggest proponents of taste is the moat.
But then we went systems.
Now I'm on the
because
other side of it. Like like
how do you engineer that at scale? How do you actually take your taste and apply it in a bigger way versus just like you have to be able to get taste? It's like, okay, like so study for a day, you'll figure out some taste. You know?
Yeah, somebody said too in the comments, they're like, well, you know, someone still has to own the call when a campaign flops or something happens or something goes wrong or this and that and the other. I'm like, yeah. So, I mean, what are you saying? Like, taste can't, you know, be solved in that regard because someone's got to be responsible? Mm-hmm. You know, because I was just thinking the perfect example now that you and I are driving these, you know, new cars that we got, you know, I picked up, you know, my Cybertruck the other day, did full FSD. Never experienced that before. But guess what happens, right? Like, even though that's controlling the vehicle, if I got in an accident, had a collision, whose fault's that? It's still mine. So that, to me, right, like, even if your hands aren't guiding turns or your feet aren't pushing pedals, you're still responsible. So I think, like, taste is there's going to be manual parts of that, and the responsibility will still go back on whoever is setting those things up. So I don't think that's like a rational argument in that sense. Like I don't see how that would prevent taste from being solved in a general regard. But
yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to evolve taste. Like taste is gonna have to evolve. Like I'm seeing it. You see it from certain people. We're not saying taste is gone because of AI. I've seen a lot of people that have really explored unique visual stuff that's not possible, a year and a half ago, right? It's like, that's cool. That's the medium that I think is going to win, is like this very unique set. Like I think of, people like Blacklight and things like that who just have like this unique, like very them, but also very like it's a brand. Like their own look is their brand, and they keep it going, and they keep producing different stuff that looks nothing like what we've seen before, right? So, the unfortunate thing is that marketing is a game of parroting what works best. And
bro,
just
marketing
driving
is
home
gonna.
return. So,
how would you like to be in marketing right now at a brand new company? I mean,
I don't know.
What?
It's probably easier than ever and harder.
How
than
are
ever
you
going to
figure out? Yeah, how are you going to figure out what actually works? I mean, like honestly, it's like distribution. Like taste is not. I don't even think.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe more on the direct to consumer side, but
hold on. This is incredible. Well, let me see. Like, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I just remembered
you're good,
that I
man.
saved a post from the other day.
I'm just spitballing here. I just like these are all things that are just rattling around.
Let me see if I can find this post, because I thought this is the best example of what we're talking about. Let me see if I have this. No. Where's the saved post? Come on. No. How long ago was this? 182. Oh, God, did I not save it? It's killing me. If I didn't do this. All right, so there, just to try and summarize it, I thought I saved this post, but it was just a guy, and he said, "This is my highest performing ad creative I've ever had," and it was just a picture of his product in a white box, and he hand drew with it looked like Microsoft Paint, like the text in there. The text is so illegible and like all over the place, and he's like, "This is by far and away nothing even comes close to posted the statistics," and I'm like, because again, it's so novel that it's just like, here's not like the perfect Canva template ad, right? It's like,
and it's a sore thumb, like,
right? But like, we look at the Microsoft Paint stuff again, and like I'm like, I love this, like the aesthetic, like the rainbow aesthetic thing, or the star, like the word shooting across the stars, that
whatever. There you go.
Like, it's great because it feels like something I know, also applied in a funny way. It just, again, taste is, who would look at that and say, I think the best example I have for taste is South Park. For anyone who's not familiar with South Park, longest running television show in American history. And
is it really?
Yeah, it's the longest running. I think it's either that or the WWF or WWE, whatever it is now.
Wow.
But if anyone has looked at those aesthetics, you would not go and say that's beautiful or that's well crafted or that's well done. It's like, it's the story and the way that they tell it and the novelty of it. And because it's illustrated, you can do whatever you want, so they could make it as ridiculous as they want, which is why people like it. So it's like, it doesn't have to look like Pixar. It can look like South Park. But if it's good, it connects with the audience, it's directionally correct, it's at the right time, which they are able to turn things around in a week. They get piece of news, they write a creative story about it, it's out in 7 days, right? Like, timing works. Like, it's not, they don't do that 5 years later when no one cares, right? So to me, it's just, there's so much that's baked into it. Again, I would never look at South Park and say, like,
no, but that's a great point
in a vacuum, right? And say, this is taste. It's like, this is,
but I get it. And I thought you brought up like a really interesting thing too, which is the imperfection, right? Just you brought up that. You also brought up Pixar. Whenever I see anything that looks like Pixar now, my appreciation for what it looks like has diminished so much.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's like not fun anymore because it's just the same. Like, you want to see something.
Anybody could do it. Anybody can generate it now, right? So, yeah. It's I mean, technically you could do it South Park too, but like I guess the point is there even in that show, and it's been a long time since I've seen it. I used to watch it all the time as a kid, but there was always tie-ins to pop culture, you know, which I think is also important. But again, it's in its own unique lane. There's nothing really like South Park,
No.
and it's kind of crazy that they survived sort of this cancel culture, you know, all these little movements that have taken place. They're still standing.
It's because it's perfect satire in most instances. Like it's so correct and it's so fast and it happens within 5 days of the event.
Yeah,
and then it's like okay, it's not lingering. It's like they get it out. But yeah, I mean we spent a lot of time on the taste thing here, but I think it's probably a topic that's on everyone's mind.
Yeah,
I hear about it
agree.
all the time. And
Agree. I hope people found that valuable because I think that is obviously we both feel very strongly that that's a big piece that we need to be thinking about collectively and individually as applies to whatever the hell we're doing. Rory, a couple more things I know we want to hit on here. You want to shift gears over to Figma a little bit?
Yeah.
And then we can kind of get into a couple other areas. I also want to hit Midjourney. You know, we've got a couple little updates there we can provide you with through office hours. Also another little interesting thing with Adobe. So, we'll try to cram this in here.
So Figma, I thought had like if anyone's a Figma user, not a Figma user, anyone graphic design or doing anything, you know, remotely in the realm of product design or things like that in Figma, they released a bunch of good stuff at Config last week. I'm not just saying that because I was there, but it was something. Typically, it's one of the only conferences like I really watch every year because it's directly applicable. I'm in Figma every single day, no matter what, and it felt probably the last 2 years like there was more so like not necessarily like the product releases were for the core user, maybe to get more users or things like that. But this one felt like, all right, like design nerds, here you go, like have some fun. So, and they added some interesting like I don't want to call them interfaces, but just like ways to interact with the tool, which I think is great because honestly, like it killed a lot of what I do in Photoshop now. A lot of what I do in Photoshop. You can build, I think one of the coolest things they updated was you can build custom tools. So like you can talk to the Figma agent or build plugins, which typically, you had to code. Now you can just do them right on canvas. Like I want to do this, can you create a plugin for this, and then just like pop it up at any time, whenever you want to. I think that's legit and awesome. And like, that's a way to process things.
I don't want to go off. I don't want to go off into a different direction here. But even with that, Rory, can't you just see this where other companies start to layer in the ability to build custom tools right in their own product?
Yes.
For their niche audience. Like,
yes.
Just thinking about like, company I used to work for, live event production software. Like, it's a very niche thing. You're talking about like people that work the shows, they set up the stages, they do the audio, the video, right? They source the event, the people that are working the event. But like, even in little spaces like that, like the ability for somebody that doesn't now really have to be that savvy, just kind of know the technology a bit, build custom tools for them, which again is coming from several layers down now, right? You're going from the LLM provider to the company to the user.
Yeah.
Right? Or will some people take the route, right, that they go around it and they don't even need the company to do it. They'll build their own tool. But anyway, that's a dangerous thing to bring up. I wanted to say that like while you were talking about it, but I don't think we should go off in that direction. I would rather hear more about Figma specifically. So go for it.
Yeah. I mean, look, like it's cool. Like I think it's sort of just like a great way to sort of entertain your audience or just like give them a little bit of something. Like if you can go here now, and if you go into, excuse my messy workspace here, but if you were to look at tools, right, you can turn just like ideas into plugins. I can be like, I'll show some of the like example ones, right? Like you have a bento grid builder. Like I love this thing. This is just a great tool. It's basically you want to build a bento grid or collage, if anyone's not familiar with that. Just like now I can go, all right, I want to have it at, 1920 by 1080. I want to have, 8 columns or 7 columns, and I want to have 6 and maybe 3, whatever. Why is this not working here? Corner radius, I can do the gap, I can change the colors, but regardless, I just hit generate, and bang, well, I had something selected, which wasn't great. Let's just do this again. There. So just like created a collage, right? Like, which is just to format this takes a little bit of time. Right now, these are all like specific frames, and I can either just highlight, these images and tell the agent to go like drop them in there, format them correctly. Like these little things are super nice, especially if you're doing day-to-day stuff. So like this one to me was like, I love this. And you also have like all of like everyone's stuff that they're building in here, and like a lot of the community tools are coming up. So there's a lot of different things to check out within tools. The agent thing I thought is pretty good. Like I've been playing with it, and you can build things like custom shaders, and like that to me is legit. Like if anyone hasn't played with a shader before, there's a lot of different ways to think about it and use it. I'm using it at very basic levels, like things I used to use Photoshop for. You can basically build camera raw in here if you wanted to. Like there's nothing stopping you from doing that, and everything's custom. So like I did build is this the one? Where the heck is this? Built a matrix shader, right, where I can control sort of the look and feel of like an image and just like overlay sort of like the matrix look on top of it, where I can control a lot of different pieces of it, where the effect I can go and really play with a lot of different things. If I need to, I can bring it up, I can bring it back down, I can change, I can get the wave frequency to make it a little bit more wiggly. I can change like the streams of the channels. I can change the text size, right? I can make it a little bit bigger. I can change between hex and binary here. But you see, it's all like just taking this image or this one and then just modifying it. Like that one, fun. The other one I did was, again, talking about the old vintage aesthetics thing, was like I was doing this thing with a samurai and the Nissan poster. And then I built like a shader to give it like sort of like all the bad things that you probably were pissed off about VCR cameras. So like all these extra things. Like here might be a better picture. Like, all right, so Min and I from San Francisco, and then I ran it on here and added all like the compression artifacts, the interlacing, the pixelation, right? Like the little bar here. If I pulled this open, again, I'm giving it all these parameters that I want to be able to change, and then I can change a lot of stuff here. We can change the where the tracking bar is, or that's because I'm not selecting anything. Regardless, it's cool. Like I can create these basically these little custom tools that I want to. This one was fun. Like I would say these are more for fun than like function, right? I'm just trying to see what I can do with it and how far I can push it before I get into some of the other stuff that people have been doing is really unique. A lot of designers, if you're not, like this is something, using Figma Motion, which is another product that they added. And there's a lot of good stuff that people are doing with it. So like this one, for example, is using with a shader and Figma Motion. Like you can create some really awesome motion graphics and create some really good things if you're building websites or doing, anything product design focused, because people are coming up with really cool things that you can do in real time now. But that's just some of the Figma stuff, right? The Figma agent also, it can work on canvas, build frames for you, do things like that. I would say the way that Weavy is going to be integrated is cool as hell. So if you're familiar with building workflows in Weavy, now you can import that as a tool. Like if I wanted to do, if I wanted to build a workflow that takes an input image and does X, like I can build that in Weavy, and then you can use it as a tool here so that whatever the output is, whenever it runs through your full process, it'll just hit go, right? And then it'll just pop up here and generate here. So there's some interesting things, and the best way to, I think, describe it, there's a good deep dive on how Weavy is going to be integrated into the Figma sort of ecosystem, which I thought was really cool. They're going to have a Figma node, so you're going to be able to take any frame you want and bring it into Weavy as a reference, and it'll be linked. So like whatever you do in the Weavy node will also be linked back to the canvas. So there's some good stuff here. I think let me just skip to the end. Maybe this is the wherever the part is. I'm trying to find it. But this video from Ron and Gal over at the Weavy team, they explained it all, and they showed it on live demo. But basically, you can do sort of like batch generation. You can do multiple updates all at once. You can have this working, basically have Weavy in Canvas and within frames and generating how you like and generating sort of how you want to go. We'll do, once this gets released to everyone, I think it's still in dev, but we'll definitely do a deep dive on it because I think it's going to be sick. Just if anyone's working with Figma, that's going to be a fun one for you, especially if you're doing anything in marketing or asset creation like that.
Yeah, and the motion
just
stuff,
cool stuff.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like Figma got, they were like, all right, here, designers who want to design creative things, just go do whatever you want. Basically, you now have a lot more functionality to do that. So, there's some cool stuff. There also, the code to canvas thing is really cool. I won't get into that too much. That's for like, heavy sort of niche here, but I just like directionally what they did. I don't think a lot of people are doing it. And this is another hot take I have, right?
Give me the hot take.
Everyone's so goddamn focused on acquisition that no one's thinking about retention at all. Like everything is new feature. We need to get new subscribers, new this, new that, sign up today, 50% off, whatever, blah, 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 blah. No one's like, how do I keep all these people? Right? Because how many times have you signed up for a tool and then been like a month later, like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Right? So
do you think that in some regards, well, definitely, I would say the majority, it's just an oversight. But I think in some regard, do you think people are making those decisions think that that's in some ways a losing battle? And I'm not saying that's right, but in the sense that people are going to change, like technology's moving, new product could pop up tomorrow. Like there's this inevitable churn that takes place regardless. But does that become even more, like, is there more velocity now because of AI being introduced in that sense? And again, I'm not saying that that's the approach I would take. In fact, I think what you said is really undervalued. What are the things that you could be leveraging AI for right now that is sticky? And I don't think it necessarily has to be this shiny new feature.
Yeah.
So
exactly
what is in that space? That's pretty interesting.
Granted, a lot of these companies are new and it's all a fundraising game and it's all a way to, you have to show the investors you're getting new people. And like, I understand that. But there's a lot of legacy companies that are implementing these products that aren't keeping people the same way. So like Figma to me is kind of doing what we just talked about. I'm coming up with this, take on the fly here, this one now specifically, that like what we just said is like, how creative can we let people be and how unique of stuff can they make? Like they're allowing that now. Like now there's the tools there and they're giving it to like the hardcore users who want to go do that stuff. So like to me, there's certain things like Adobe. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of stuff I don't use as much as I used to. Like I don't use Illustrator. Like I don't use what's it called as much as I used to. InDesign. Like just don't use it as much. And again, they've done nothing to really keep me other than giving me generative expand that one time and generative fill. I felt more of it it hasn't been like tailored towards like the core Adobe user, if that makes sense. Like I don't feel like anything has been really like, there's been a few things, obviously, don't get me wrong, they have like 100 products, so I'm guessing there's some people that love some of the things that they released, but I just keep seeing people not feeding their cores. Going back to brand building, this seems to come back somehow full circle, but I felt like the core was fulfilled in the Figma release. I feel like a lot of the core people and the core users got like a lot more stuff rather than like, here's this big, and that's the thing is like people don't see that. I saw the stock price dropped during it and I'm like, everyone here from like, I don't know, 40 countries around the world, 20,000 people, power users, big organization, everyone here is amped, right?
Revenue's still trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
I was telling you that this is not financial advice.
Yeah.
But stock seems severely undervalued right now. I mean,
For how
severely.
integrated it is.
I mean, it's
used by,
like, I didn't look at it in the last few days, but I mean, it's like $18 a share.
Yeah, I was just really surprised. But regardless, I think they're doing a good job of, like, I think they're doing a lot of what Midjourney's been doing, right? It's like building around community, keeping it like with that as a focus, giving the core like diehards more things to play with.
Yeah.
Let them be creative. Don't over control or over engineer like what they can do. Just like sort of let the creativity run wild and then like celebrate it. So I think there's a nice little.
I think so
probably
too.
Reason why. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice little segue there, brother. That was
Yeah.
Smooth.
Look at me.
Buttery. So much so that we could segue that in either direction. I think there are two last things we want to talk about. I think let's start with Adobe just because I think it's just a very quick thing. But, they announced something, man, maybe just, when was it? 2 days ago? I think it was this week. But they are launching Firefly Foundry. And essentially what that means is to enable enterprise custom AI model development. Now, if you recall, a couple weeks ago, months ago, whatever, we talked about Pinterest specifically developing its own model in-house. Mm-hmm. So I didn't read to the depths of this, and again, because we're not going to go super deep into this, but this is a nice little anecdote. But they're going to be securing enterprise clients for custom AI models. And again, that this is like one of those things where like this affects me and you down the stream a little bit. We're thinking about securing a big enterprise client and we're going to be doing, brand image work for them. These teams now don't necessarily need that middle person, the outside person, because you would think that a bigger company like Adobe could supply not only the model, but the education on the model and exactly tailor it to all those needs.
Correct.
This is a very interesting thing and something to keep an eye on. And then also today it was announced, of course, I lost that on my screen. Let's do this really quick just so we can kind of get a visual up here. But they just inked Disney to the first deal on that. And that definitely was supposed to be the first deal, for sure.
Someone who was so against AI, they seem pretty interested as of recent.
Here it is right here. Adobe and Walt Disney announced a partnership that uses Firefly Foundry to build custom AI image models trained on Disney IP. System can turn sketches into concept, blah, 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 and even convert 2D concepts into 3D attraction prototypes. So this is the piece, right? Like this is definitely one of the clearest examples of that happening at an enterprise level beyond what we talked about with Pinterest. So this particular product, service, if you will, being provided.
This seems really hard to me. If I'm being blunt and honest about it, like...
Not on this, don't do that on this podcast. Don't be blunt or honest on this podcast.
If I'm being blunt about this just seems like a ton of work for how fast the space moves, and then all the maintenance that's going to come with it, and all the scrutiny that's going to come with it from the Disney contingent, and like how sacred that IP is. So like, this sounds like a wonderful idea in theory. I don't know how they have the money, time, or expediency to train models when that's not their core competency. Like I don't,
yes, right? They haven't perfected their own. I don't think that they're even completely satisfied with where they're at with their own. So
exactly. Does anyone here in the comment section? Here's two things. If in the comment section, if you use Firefly and that's your your choice, drop it in there. Tell us why. Because I've been waiting for an answer on that one from someone that's like, Firefly is the best, and this is why. I think people are only using it because they have to. And that's just my own personal opinion. I've used it. It's just not my choice, right? And I don't have to use it because I'm not on enterprise. But the other thing is, has anyone ever experienced, again, drop that comment here, Has anyone worked with, experienced a brand that has a custom trained model for their brand, and that thing is not a pain in the ass, or is like proven valuable, or doesn't need constant
Good
maintenance? Right,
Dude,
like,
good point.
I'm looking
How
for
does
an
that work,
example of
Rory?
it.
How does
Yeah.
that work? Like, when do these models get updated?
Correct.
You
All
know,
the time.
so is Adobe aggregating that through Nano Banana and these GPT, like, because it?
Flux, probably. I mean, like, that's the only one you could probably train at the current moment to have like an aesthetic look that's sufficient enough. Maybe LTX, maybe for video stuff, maybe it's not making sense to me in terms of like the
very
investment of
interesting.
time, resources, money to get there, and then it's like, okay, well, this is outdated now because there's a much better model, and like your stuff looks like the AI of 2 months ago, which everyone can tell then, so it's. And then things change, and then you do a rebranding, and then you have to redo the whole system. Like, especially if you have multiple products, you have different design systems for different products. Like, different IP for Disney. Every character is going to have something.
Yeah.
different. It doesn't. To me, there's like so many intricacies.
Well, dude, and let's think about
Yeah.
that use case versus other use cases that would be ideal for them. I mean, Disney's has all these images. What about somebody that doesn't have a visual identity that's really solid, built off decades of work?
Correct.
Entirely different approach.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible, right? Like, I mean, obviously, like, these are things that like you and I have solved for, and other people listening to this have solved for, but like that's an entirely different thing too. And then,
Yeah.
you're going to need a whole department and workforce dedicated to these specific types of engagements that are trained in real time. Good luck. And if you're up to date at that level, you know what? I can't say much more about that. I actually can't say much more about
I'm also laughing because we just mentioned
So-
Blacklight before, and the first comment on this one is from Blacklight, and it's just very, very him. But I do, look, I think this is like a good marriage from like a user standpoint. I think a lot of people who use Topaz probably use Adobe. So this makes sense to me.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. Like I feel like this one is just total sense.
Rory, let's pivot. Let's wrap this up with some Midjourney chat. Let's dive in. Couple things, right? Like I think we covered this in the previous episode, but just to like reiterate, the preview feature is available as a parameter right now. -- preview. Behind any prompt, you're going to get images that are coming from what's currently in the model for V8.2, their upcoming model. So this is a new thing. They haven't done this before. Kind of like this approach. Really interesting. You can get feedback in
nice.
real time. You haven't formally released it, so you don't have all this pressure.
Correct.
Even if it's not what people want or expect, you're taking those insights and that sentiment and reconfiguring it and making it better. So it's the building in public piece that I think is just a really smooth move by them. And then, just a couple other things here to note. Like
Are you
in
by
draft.
the way, are you only running preview now? Because I'm like only running preview at this point. I like it so much. Like, I like the aesthetic.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And then I would say, I guess like the V8.2, just like really briefly, what are your observations in terms of what you're seeing differently between those images? Let's talk about that for a second.
Color, as always. Detail. I'm seeing a lot more texture. I don't know. It feels a little bit.
8.2.
It just feels a little better. Like, look at the skin. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, look at the depth in the skin, and like, there's still the same funky Midjourney stuff that it does, but that like like her teeth, right? Like she has two giant beaver chompers, but like the skin, incredible. Like that's the best. Might be some of the best skin I've ever seen on AI. Right there.
Clip
seriously.
that. Clip it.
Like, look at that. Even like the coloration of the skin from like the eyes under the bags. Like we can go in and look at that
preview.
stuff, right?
Okay. Let's see if I can sort
hold on, wait.
by preview. I think I can. Yeah. So let's jump out of here. Yeah, I haven't run much actually.
Look at that. That's gorgeous to me. Just doesn't look like the standard AI face that you see on everywhere else. Are you prompting for freckles there, by the way?
No.
I'm wondering if the freckle thing is coming back. Remember?
I think the freckle
like,
thing's still
V5?
there. It's still
Yeah.
there. It's not as bad, but it definitely shows up without you asking for it.
We love the freckles.
Gotta love
But,
those
I mean,
nuns,
look.
baby.
That is great. Very fat. I like those glasses. Those are fire.
I swear I had a 6th grade teacher that looked exactly like this. And I went to Catholic school, baby. Uniforms and everything.
Scary as hell. She definitely wasn't
for
nice.
sure.
Definitely wasn't nice.
No, none of them were.
This
Dude,
this now makes a lot of sense as to why there's a lot of nuns with guns and
Dude, I grew up. Yo, there you go. So that's tied into my roots, man. I mean, I went to Catholic school all the way through halfway through high school. So
yeah.
I mean, church every week, uniforms. You had 2 options for shirts. You know what I mean? It's either maroon
No
or
stubble
it's
on
white.
the face.
You know,
Better not have any stubble on that face. Better shave that.
not that I could grow stubble at that time.
Oh, okay. There was
Bro,
I remember
stubble
that used to
didn't
be a thing.
come till I think college for me. But
They used to give you like
yeah,
a
man.
Bic one blade disposable razor. I remember my friends having to do that. I just had hack jobs. It was so funny. There was what else you got here on this?
No, I was just gonna say, like, I guess in
Oh.
terms of what they're saying, right? Better overall image quality. I have noticed the uniqueness of the posing, both in some of like the images that I just showed you, which is not a lot, but also just seeing other people generating things in preview, seem to be a little bit more unique and distinct in that sense. So maybe we're also getting rid of,
Right.
some of those like dead, lifeless. If you don't text prompt for the pose, you might not, you're not going to get nothing. So maybe that's sort of going away too.
Here's some
Also,
of the here. Let me just I'll pull this up just to verify what I was
Please,
saying
verify
on the detail texture, and like some of this stuff might not be anatomically correct, but like this one to me got me
click into it, and then go in. Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? There's a lot going on texture wise. Like, of course, I wanted to play with the texture because I just love it. But I thought some of these have been like really impressive from a texture standpoint. Like this one, even just like all the little flame. Let's see if we can open this in a new. I'll open image in a new tab. Like the level of detail in the flames, right? Like there's a lot of texture, a lot of depth. Even the stitching here. Like there's a lot of stuff going on in this one image. But I was running a bunch of stuff, of course. Like this stuff was making me happy. It's so weird. I love it.
Yeah, I like
weird
that
it
one.
is. Just the oversized mouths. Like it's like I love doing that stuff. But again, I felt like there was some really unique sort of outputs that I was getting that I wasn't. This one definitely a lot different of a run from V8.1. A lot of the stuff was just rerunning of what I did in V8.1 to check the difference. But again, just noticing a lot of things on the texture and the detail side of things. Where like there's just so much, even micro refractions, like these little threadings and textures down here, like even the bridge.
Yeah.
You can see it all. It's all there. The tongue, the taste buds, the gum discoloration, like and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about. Like everyone, we're
Just zoom in on that
focusing-
eyebrow too. Zoom in on the eyebrow where the paint's like overlaying it. Like, let's check that out if it looks like really like it's in there.
It kind of looks like his eyebrows are painted on, or just like doesn't look like it's translating there.
Doesn't, but
Some of the other stuff, the details of the nose are translating.
that could
nose
just
and
be, there's also, I think, some inconsistencies with V8 in general. And I'm not necessarily complaining about that. This is just an observation that you'll, image to image, like if you're out of a set of 4, you might get a couple that just look a little bit more dialed in than the others.
yeah.
So in terms of like the tackiness, the sharpness to it, the detail.
Like again, there's a really random sort of style and aesthetic, and just like the full on texture here, and I think that's kind of what we've all maybe not, at least maybe not all of us, but like me, you see the difference in the texture between this and something else, and you're like, I want all this. Like I want this with the level of with sort of the level of control, just a little bit more control, and then I'm gonna be sad because like this is so much fun to play with. Like just this level of detail for me specifically, right? Like I love playing with this, and I'll hit the button a million times, but that's just I don't know if anyone else is feeling that way. Like I like being able to play with this and not have to worry about not have to worry about writing every single little detail for something that extravagant or that over the top, which is nice.
Yeah.
I miss it.
Yeah, exactly.
I miss
That's
being
cool.
able to just rip. But
I know.
that's been mine. Color, texture, like prompting to me feels pretty similar. I'm also just bashing mood boards together. So
Yeah,
you never know what's affecting what.
There are just so many ways to do it now that don't require you just starting from scratch. Draft mode, you can do sref random, not 245, 24. So just that, I thought that's an interesting thing if you want to explore that way. Also, you can combine sref random with mood board codes for a little bit of a different spin on it. Going back to V2, currently in testing, nearing release. Nothing crazy here in terms of the improvements other than maybe just aesthetic, but they did mention they're already doing V9 training runs. New data set work is underway. Other big thing that we're going to notice sooner rather than later is probably this web interface update. They're working on mobile as well, but the website redesign, they got a big task there. There's a lot of things that you can do in Midjourney. And from a user experience point,
Yeah.
even we, knowing all of them, forget about them. So I can't imagine people that come in here from time to time. And then, like when you get into all those parameters and permutation, like there's just a lot, the settings, the mood boards, the profiles, like there's just a lot everywhere. That's a big project. And then I think obviously number one on my mind is the edit model, which no real update on timeline here, but says it's the highest development priority. Omni-reference style editing first, more advanced regional editing, so in-painting and out-painting, and full editing workflow afterwards.
Huh. So omni-reference style editing, okay. More advanced regional, okay, good. In-painting, out-painting, full editing workflow afterwards. What's a full editing workflow?
Don't know. Little ambiguous there.
Omni-reference would be good. That's first. Just want to use it.
Yeah, so this, initial capabilities, changing subjects, objects, environments. You also got to think, I don't know if this makes it to the beginning, but, again, like you think about what something like, is it Quen? I think that does this, and, it's in Magnific, but it's like, I may have even showed this on the podcast, but it's like,
Camera.
You can just do the variations where you select what camera options you want in terms of the angles and perspectives. It just takes that existing image and bakes it out for you. Like you just get 9 instantly in a 3x3 grid or something like that. Like, wonder if that's part of it, or their own version of that. But I don't know. Really exciting, ambiguous here with the full editing, but ambiguous enough to get me excited and hopefully not let down. But edit model's the game changer. Edit model's the game changer. We've been saying that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I just want to play with some of these characters a little bit. Like, I just want to like maybe change that one character's facial style. Like the one where with the crazy pink and green face we just saw. Like maybe instead of like the screaming, I want like straight face, and it's like things like that. I just want to do simple. I don't have to go over the top. Would be cool.
Do you remember the old days, Rory, when we were painting out things like that, like maybe mouth?
Yes.
Maybe we didn't like the mouth. Maybe we didn't like the earring. Or the hat or the hairstyle or something like that, and then you just had to like click generate, regenerate. Yeah, there weren't any tools that could do that at the time when they launched that. And now we're here. Crazy.
Did you notice?
But I think that's, go ahead.
I don't know if they updated this or they put an update on it. Did you notice now that when you upscale, you can do it in V8? Just like a little thing, like I didn't have to like erase one little dot and then bring it back down into V7 to then upscale it again. Like you can just do it straight from editor now, which I was not. I just noticed it the other day, and I was like, oh, all right, it's not 7 anymore. But little observation. Have you been on the Explore page in a while, by the way?
I don't know. Why?
Just like, I don't know if it's just me. Just like it hasn't been wowing me lately.
Oh, okay. Let's
Just
look
on
at
it the other day, and because I feel like there's so much cool. Like there you go. Like that's more what I'm talking about. Maybe it's my personalization stuff.
like this.
It's not. I like that. I like the guy next to it with the highlight. With the die cut highlight.
Yeah.
I like the. All right, yours looks better than mine. What the hell?
Well, try.
You got
try,
better
maybe
taste
just,
than me, dude.
But maybe you didn't sort through the. These are top month.
Oh, this isn't my personal one. Oh, I was in For You. That's why. Okay. No wonder. Wasn't even looking at top. Wasn't even looking at top month. I just go in there every once in a while nowadays because I'm tired of seeing the same stuff.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't actually even use the For You. Fuck, man, I probably should be.
So this is what I forget about some of this stuff sometimes. You get so tied up doing everything else that it's like, oh, I used to go on the this Explore page all the time.
Yeah,
And just like look for stuff.
it was like a rite of passage.
Yeah, it was just like I just want to see where crazy people's brains were going, and now, I don't have that as much.
Rory, this might be a
Try to do
good
it more.
time. How much value we had in those old episodes.
Yeah,
I mean, where we went so deep. Just a reminder about the secret search.
Secret search. Love that.
For everything, images, styles. So click into something, click this. You're going to get close examples. They're usually higher quality than if you were to search for just a keyword in general. Just a little tip. Same with styles. Like I think you can. I haven't been on here in a long time, but I think you can do the same thing where. Yep. So let's just say this, and it's going to give me similar, what it thinks is similar color palette, style, codes.
Pinterest has that now, which I love.
Yeah.
You can use image as a search, which is like nice. Thanks. Needed that. So it says beta. Did it by mistake the other day. Didn't even know it was there. But dude, this is.
Look at these.
I'm like.
Look at this. I just did that draft mode. But I did R40. So I got what's 40 times 24?
Don't make us do math here. We already can't say
96. 960?
Is that right?
900. I just got 960 styles. Boom.
That's insane. Someone, by the way, you'd appreciate this. Someone in the comments the other day. I'm sorry if you're listening and I forget who said it because but it reminded me. Someone mentioned the nail in the foot, so they've been around for a while. Yeah.
Yo. Okay. I got to tell you this because we both had our problems with feet and toes
feet.
on this podcast. You and the nail. I don't know if you recall. It's been about a little over a year now, but. Literally got a new dining room table. First week I had it smashed. Just walking around my own house. Just walking around my own house.
Yeah.
Nothing cool, nothing sports. Smoked my foot on this chair, which I do this all the time.
All the time.
I'm not clumsy, but I'm like spatially. I guess I like just. I don't know. Just look
Autopilot.
past what I'm doing. Yeah, autopilot.
Yeah.
There you go. Smashed toe, broke the toe, had to wear a boot for a month. That whole thing.
Pinky toe?
Literally getting ready to go on this trip, this vacation, this family
You
vacation.
got a boot on?
And I'm going down the steps, and I take a step, and I almost fall, and I bend my foot backwards to try to catch myself. This is the same foot, by the way. And I was almost positive I broke another toe in the process, same foot. Just walking around my house, just doing my own thing. And it still hurts. This has been a couple weeks now. It still hurts. But I am not going back to the hospital for that stuff. It's ridiculous what they charge you just for little x-rays. And all they did was give me a boot and a little splint and just say, yo, wear this for a little bit.
Stay off it.
So I already know the whole thing. I'm not going through it, but I instantly thought of you. I was like, dude, our feet Our feet
something
are
wrong.
tried and true over here.
I had to like think about it for a second. Then I was like, oh yeah. And back then I couldn't get the foot stepping on the nail. On the
That's right.
Side. Now I probably can. Might have to bring that back.
Oh my god!
But I just found that one to be very funny. We also had shout out to a few config people who said they were regular listeners. Love the show. So another good one. Makes us feel good when you guys see us and tell us that. It's like the one thing I care about. You know, it's like my LinkedIn post. Whatever. You tell us we like the podcast.
Yeah, dude.
You guys are best friend. Yeah.
Shout out to my dental hygienist before we go.
Shout out to
I told her I was like, hey, look, she's like, you're gonna put these in. I'm like, well, I got to do a podcast. Like, I'm just probably gonna take these out. Like, I'm not gonna put them in until I'm done. She goes, what's the name of your podcast? So I gave her the info. She's like, oh, I'll probably listen to it. I'm like, okay. And then she was like, I'm gonna be watching to see if you're wearing them on the podcast.
There's a shout out right there.
Okay, so and you know what? The lisp wasn't really I'm actually pleasantly surprised, man. So
not that bad. Why does it sound like it on your end? Do you feel
it doesn't sound. I was expecting worse because I feel like I've known people that have done this, and it was very obvious to me.
You can have spit all over your screen here when you're done with the day talking.
I mean, I didn't have to say operationalize or homogenous or anything like that on this podcast. But
operationalization.
The real ones know. If you know, you know.
Ones know. You have to have one word flub to be officially part of this podcast. So
that applies even if you're a guest.
That's correct.
Didn't Tyler have one of those on his? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He had one. It was an immediate, instant success. He's now part of the family. We can officially initiate him.
Dude, unbelievable. Hey, I think we're gonna have a guest next week. Just a little shout out. Need to double confirm that. I was telling you about that. I don't want to reveal who it is just because it's not 100% concrete. I want to lock that in. But I'm thinking that's what we'll do next week. Should be a good episode. Rory, we kind of already did the subscriber shout out, but I mean,
I think we got to do it again. Just to wrap it up. If you're here, if you listened to all of this, if you made it through all of that, just tell somebody. Do something like it, subscribe to. You don't have to subscribe either. Just comment. Comment's actually better, probably. Subscribe, tell a friend.
Oh, if you're on mobile, hype.
Yes, hype. Also, that button works. The other thing is, now that we've gone through dental hygienist, what about like a dermatologist? Have we gone there before yet?
I like that. I don't think we've even chartered those waters to this point.
Yeah. Your local pharmacy worker who's you're buying sunscreen and whatever else from. That's a good one. Maybe we've had to do Amazon delivery driver in the U.S.
Yeah, we did. We did.
Okay. Damn.
Don't you remember that influx?
Did we? You
don't remember that influx from the drivers
from the
Amazon? Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
Like our numbers just shot up after that. That was wild. Yeah. Great times, man.
Or your mechanic. There you go. There's a new one. I don't think we've done mechanic yet. But tell your friends. Tell them. Tell whatever. And then, we'll be back here doing this next couple weeks until, further notice.
Let's do it. And we're not traveling next week, right? Right?
No.
Right?
We are not.
Okay. Yeah, right. Me either. So let's go. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We will see you guys in the next one. See you next week.
See ya.